to another YouTube video. Now today we're going to be reviewing one of the products that I've recently picked up to help me in my triathlon journey, which is the XLAB Delta 430 bottle cage holder, which is then paired with the Aero Pouch 300. Now the idea of this is that you've got the bottle cage and then you've got the Aero Pouch to place any sort of bits that you need, ranging from food, I guess, to what it's more commonly used for is for puncture repair kit and any bike tools that you may or may not use. Now, I have a bike that doesn't have its own internal storage. I run a Aero P2, so it hasn't got any of its kind of built-in storage system, so I have to look out of the box. So this came in very good because I could run the back bottle like many people do, because it's one of the most aerodynamic ways to do so, but it also allows me to carry my tools without taking up space in my bento box or be placed in an unaerodynamic way on my bike. You can buy little pouches that fit in your frame, but they aren't so common for a lot of bikes. They typically only are for the top end bikes that probably already have internal storage anyway. So this is a great way to have a storage solution and to be able to run a rear bottle all in one nice aerodynamic setup. Now I have the Delta 430. This is because I run a ISM 3.0 saddle, and this has been specifically built to fit that saddle. So this is why I have got this particular mount, which came with the gorilla cage, which is really good for holding a bottle in, and then the pouch basically fits around that. You can see you're basically just bolting this pouch in between the cage and the mount. First of all, the gorilla cage is really good at holding in bottles. If you've ever run a rear seat mount bottle cage, you know that as soon as you hit a bump, it'll go, your bottles go absolutely flying, even to the point where people sometimes run elastic bands that go around the bottle cage over the bottle to stop it from pinging out, and then when they need to use it, they'll take that band off. So this is really good for just holding, making sure that you can hold your bottle in. The first time it's a little bit stiff, but you can keep bottles in there to help loosen the retention of the cage. So that's something that I may experiment with, but to be honest, I'd rather have something in here nice and stable that may take a couple of seconds extra for me to pull out than have a bottle that flies away, because if you're going to lose nutrition, you do not want to lose your fluids or any sort of bottles that you have. So an extra second is nowhere near as much detriment to your performance like losing your bottle. So what I run, first of all, is I've got a tiny bit of tissue paper just to help keep things compressed, and so that you don't have metal rubbing on metal or anything jogging around. So I have this in there just to help buffer some of that. So I can fit in a standard inner tube. I can fit in some tie levers. Now this tie lever acts as a tie lever that also has some tools that acts as a ratchet, so you can put a face in there and ratchet, so that's really useful. But that's basically tie levers and Allen keys. I can also then fit in 2 gas tubes. I also have the adapter for the canister to inflate your tyres. And then I also, as a last thing, have my rear disc wheel pump adapter as well. Now, the really nice thing about this is I can actually screw in my valve adapter, so I can pump up my rear disc with a CO2 canister going in the bottom. So this is particularly useful, and I'm probably going to do a review on this at some point, so look out for that video. So let's start off with the positives. This is a very nice and clean setup. You can fit a lot of tools in this rear pouch, more or less all the tools that you'd need. It secures a bottle really well with that gorilla cage, and this mount, like I'm assuming the other mounts as well, it has super amounts of flexibility. You can angle it different ways, you can dial it in very precise, so you can get whatever you want out of it. Another thing as well is it's been tried and tested. It's been used by lots of pros on the field because it is a very aerodynamic and clean way of carrying additional things on the bike. It also comes in a very nice lightweight package. It may vary depending on which attachment that you have to have for your own individual saddle, but the whole package is very lightweight and very, very solid. Okay, now to go over some negatives. This setup is quite costly for what you can get out there on the market. It's a little bit difficult to just say it's expensive, because if you look at running a rear-mounted bottle cage and some sort of aerodynamic kit carrier, a lot of better options than this come up even more costly. So if you had to run a rear-mounted cage and then go out and buy some sort of fin that sat over your back wheel, or you had to buy some sort of bento box that fit in the middle of your frame, they can be more costly than this system. So this can be on par or even slightly cheaper than some of those options. However, if you're just running this as a rear-mounted bottle cage, it can come up as one of the more expensive options. However, I also think it's one of the better options, because all of the cheaper options that I've run, particularly if I'm running an inexpensive bottle cage and an inexpensive mount to the seat, there's so much movement, the bottles come up flying. So I think if you're going to get anything that works this well, you're sort of having to pay that premium price. Now, the only real disappointing thing about this product is there's a little bit of quality that is lost in some of the so minor points of it. So the product as a whole is amazing. However, it is let down by these two little plastic spaces, and also where they've punched a hole through this fabric with these little metal eyelets that allows the bolt to go through. What I found is when I was torquing it up to the required torque that had been given in the instructions, basically this metal eyelet was deforming, and as well as these plastic inserts were deforming as I was torquing them up. So as I was trying to get them to the right torque, it just kept tightening and tightening and tightening, and these bits just kept failing and failing and failing, to now where I've got it to the right torque, but I can tell on these little plastic spaces that basically they've become compressed and there's a little bulge in them. Now, this hasn't been a problem and it hasn't come loose, but I do look at it sometimes and think these bits have been compressed and compromised in some sort of way, which if these little spaces were to break, obviously then the whole thing would start rattling around. In summary, I think this is a great product to be able to carry a rear bottle cage and tools in an aerodynamic profile, and it looked very, very clean when racing. The only change that I would make if I was the manufacturer or me as a person using the system is I probably will swap out these plastic spaces for something stronger like a metal insert, so that I just don't have that fear that the plastic spaces may fail. If you've enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment below on any other products that you would like me to try that I can do a review on the channel for you. Have a great day.